Hello, everybody, and thank you for having us. My name is Alessandro Chiarini. I'm the CEO and founder of Fortress Identity. We are a biometric relationship management firm, BRM. What does BRM mean? In the world of identity and access management and multi-factor authentication, we felt that there was a particular niche to differentiate what a biometric company does. What we do is continuous KYC, or continuous Know Your Customer. We found in the marketplace that a bank establishes an individual relationship with the customer during onboarding and then kind of touches them throughout different points of integration when they talk to the customer in a call center, when they talk to them in a mobile solution. And now that mobile and web are coming up as services for financial services for banks, we really felt that there needed to be more of a continuous KYC. As I was preparing for my speech, I kind of noticed this article in The Economist that says, "The tech's raid on the banks." I think that one thing that we want to differentiate from this article is that technology is here to enable the banks to become more digital and provide better services. So they're not necessarily being raided if they choose to partner early and now. Now I'd like to turn it over to my partner, Stuart, and he's going to demonstrate how we provide this continuous KYC for digital services. Stuart? So the first thing he's going to take a look at is we have a verification of the onboard resource. What does that provide is under our SDK, we provide 6 different types of biometrics. The bank or the entity can choose how they want to leverage that and depending on their risk level or risk assessment. So an initial login to the app could be verified Touch ID or Face ID depending on the phone that you have. The second verification could be a voice token, and I want to focus a little bit on this voice token. This is a one-time transactional token that you will only see one at a time.
1389074.
So what this does is that actually verifies each individual number that you read in that sequence, and I'll go ahead and let you do that again.
562-1389074.
Okay. So how can this be used? We got an authentication. This could be used to transfer more than 1,000, more than 5,000. It's called step-up security. Again, you can leverage that SDK to be able to do that depending on the risk levels that you'd like to set. Our third one that we're going to be making an announcement today is we now have text-dependent, text-independent capabilities. What does this do for us? This allows you to pick a phrase that you want to remember and say throughout a transaction. It also allows you to do free speech and a call center verification. So when you're calling into the call center, if you're asked for a social security number or your mother's maiden name, you can eliminate all those questions and you can just use your natural voice. Okay? And the third one that we're also excited about, in this demo, Stuart's going to go through logging into a banking session where we're using behavioral authentication. This is one of the kind of that exciting futures that we see in digital banking in terms of mobile and e-commerce. So as Stuart goes through and transfers from checking to savings, hopefully to my savings account, he's actually being monitored in terms of touch, sensitivity, pitch, and about 80 other measurements of his behavior. And as he swipes across, I purposely asked Stuart to switch from left hand to right hand. And why? Because this will actually deny and show that someone else had logged in with his credentials potentially, and then in the actual authentication, he's being denied the transaction, and the bank can now request for an additional step-up security. This behavioral analysis can be monitored without the user, they do provide consent when they install the application, but they're being monitored at every level throughout the entire experience, again, enforcing continuous customer authentication or continuous KYC. With that, we'd also like to make another announcement that we're now providing digital onboarding. Why is this important? Digital onboarding was one missing piece of continuous KYC. So we're able to now, as part of our SDK, enable a bank to bring on a new customer without them having to come to the branch. This is important in countries like Latin America and other countries where only 50% of the world is actually banked. A lot of people are still using cash. So what do we want to do? We want to give them the ability through a mobile app to verify that this is a real driver's license, a real passport, or a real ID card, and let them establish that relationship with the bank. Okay?
This is with my glasses on, and you can see that I have a different score and actually didn't pass my location, since the location and the address was in a different position than my address in Florida.
Yep, so this is a great example. So the facial score, his initial driver's license, wasn't wearing his glasses. When he tried to do the facial liveness, it actually noticed that he had glasses on and gave him a lower facial score. It also didn't match our geolocation profile for that user. So there's a lot of measurements going on in the background of defining what that initial relationship is and kind of flagging things that is something that you need additional identification for. Again, part of that continual KYC. Okay. So what does this mean in a real use case scenario? Some of the announcements we want to make today is this is not vaporware. This is being installed by companies like Citrix. In this particular use case, a user walks up to a desktop. They're being recognized by facial recognition. They're being prompted to do a voice authentication, and then they're being let into actual Citrix applications. Why is this important? In a scenario in a healthcare situation or a government situation, or someone is accessing a network from outside of their regular network, the combined biometrics of face and voice is actually being utilized to strengthen that connection. Another example that we actually just received last night, so we didn't have slides for, is we're now partnering with Real Networks. Real Networks provides advanced facial biometrics for school safety. And what they do is they actually use a facial biometric to be able to have someone access a doorway. And they're now going to use our voice technology to get prompted by a voice authentication method. This is important because the combination of biometrics is what we believe in for that continuous KYC. And now we have companies like Citrix and Real Networks. And our biggest announcement is now we have Visa as well as a partner to help deploy solutions in Latin America and in the United States for, again, continuous KYC. Digital onboarding, the login, the transactional approval, and the combination of all those biometrics provides what we call our identity score. We provide that score back to Visa in terms of a POS device, in terms of an e-commerce transaction or a mobile transaction. Really gives them security that this is the person that is doing that transaction in real time. So this happens right at the moment of transaction in less than a couple of seconds. So again, these are real customers, real solutions. Visa is one of the largest financial institutions in the world. That means that they've already gone through the regulatory requirements, and every other bank in here, our call to action to all of you is this is something you are able to do today. Come see us at our booth, and thank you for the presentation.